So my name is Marianne Uddman, and I'm the head of sustainability and innovation at Trustrace. And today I'm going to talk to you a bit about a project that we're involved in with with Resource as well, that is capturing data from the circularity. So how to enable informed decision making through circularity. But let me just give you a little bit of an overview of who Trustrace is and what we do, just so you get an overview of our involvement and why it makes sense for us to be involved in that side. So Trustrace is a supply chain traceability and transparency platform. What that means is that we're capturing data along the supply chain of fashion and retail brands. We have a headquarter in Stockholm, and we have an office in India, France, and the US as well. We're a large team by now, over 100 people, and we're quite used to working with very large traceability programs. So you see some of the large customers here, Adidas, Fast Retailing, OTB, but we actually started with what we call the fashion and sustainability front riders, such as Philippa K, Houdini, Fjärräven here in Sweden, who really helped us to build the platform, to include all the right parameters and so on. And what we do is, so we actually onboard the suppliers onto our platform and capture or gather the data from the suppliers directly on suppliers and on the material. And this is how it looks like. So you would have a jacket here, for example. This is obviously simplified, but then you would have a supplier profile, and you would capture all the different data about the movement of the goods, about the material, about the suppliers, the ESG parameters, and so on. I'm going quite quickly, but so going to circularity, I mean, the most sustainable product is the one that does not get produced. But obviously, not producing is not the solution. So we really need to move from a linear economy to a circular economy. Recycling is a good step, but it's not the final solution. We really need to get into the circular economy. What are the challenges today? And my Frederick and them before me touched a little bit on that as well. But right now, the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems, is that there is hardly any data available on circularity today. So without any data, it's very difficult to make informed decisions about the viability, the economic value of circularity for brands. So that needs to increase. Then we have the lack of the appropriate circularity infrastructure, and that's obviously where Frederick and them talked a lot about just having the better infrastructure about it. And then the low economic incentives in circularity. So how can you argue that circularity is more viable on an economical side if you can buy a t-shirt for 99 cents? So the actual production or the raw materials and the production of new products.
Jag skulle bara be dig stänga av kameran. Det gjorde du precis när jag tryckte. Bra, vi ses så länge.
Okej, du menade inte mig, tror jag. Eller? Jag ser inte.
No, she did not. She did not.
Okay. Right. So now I'm finally getting into the project, what you wanted to hear about. So the project is actually called Circular Product Lifecycle Management, CPLM. And it's together with Philippa K and Fugitex. Fugitex is a repair studio that Philippa K works together with. The time frame is 2 years. It started in September 21, so we're bang in the middle of the project. And the scale is that we are doing collecting 1,000 Philippa K garments that are being collected, that are being registered, repaired, tagged, and resold. So on a technical aspect, what we're doing is we have a mobile web platform that we have built, or that we currently building, that is capturing all the information on the take back of the products. Then we have interfaces for both the brands, the processing facility, and the resale facility. And we're linking that with currently an NFC tag on the individual product. So This could be a QR code or similar as well, but so that all the information that we're capturing can be read by different stakeholders involved as well. And then we provide a dashboard of analytics for the brand and the processing facility. And that's almost one of the most beneficial parts of it, the analytics, but I get to that. So the data on circularity will enable increased durability, recyclability, and profitability. And why is that? Well, first of all, by digitizing the manual process and you're actually capturing the data, you can make informed decisions. And I know I keep banging on about data, but it's really the only way that you can make decisions on the design, on your future plans, and so on. So we record the unique product information for each of the garments that we're receiving back from the consumers. They're getting sorted into the different categories, if they should be repaired, if they can be resold as is, if it's maybe not worth repairing them, if they're getting recycled directly. And all this feedback loop of analytics will then enable the brands to analyze this, but also especially, and that's the beauty of it, to enable them to design better for durability, to design better for recyclability. You talked earlier about the tags being a problem with the recycling, and all this information can then feed in to design better. It can be very simple as that a certain style, a certain garment keeps breaking at one specific seams, which maybe that wasn't the right way to design in the first place. So you can change that. Or same on the material sourcing. You can make decisions if maybe a material is not very durable and is not really living up to the expectations that this garment should be fulfilling. So all this feeds back into the design. And with that, then you will have an increased life cycle of the products. And of course, you enable the brands just to incorporate more circular business models. I wanted to just include this part about the regulations and especially on the ISPR and the digital product passport, because circularity and the data gathering on the circularity part, but also on the production part and everything feeds into the digital product passport, which ultimately will give a big push to circularity. And for those who are not so familiar with the digital product passport, the aim of it's going to be mandatory from the EU, and it's going to be a certain set of data points that have to be included on every single product sold in the EU, starting right now with textiles and batteries are the first ones where the mandatory part is coming out. And it's really to encourage the sustainable production, enable the transition to a circular economy, help authorities to verify compliance, help consumers to make sustainable choices, and with that, provide new business opportunities. So this is an overview of a simplified overview of a supply chain. The blue part that you see here is the supply chain, let's say the linear supply chain from a brand where we already capture through our core platform all the data along those different players. What you see in pink here is what we're talking about here, the CPLM project. So it's capturing the repair data, all the data from the garments that are coming back and taking all the information about the repair part. So different module, which is right now in the pilot stage. And then as part of a different project, I just want to add it on here. We're also looking into capturing the data on the recycling and the usage part, and that's part of a project called Trace for Value. So in essence, what we'll have then is the possibility of capturing data for the entire circularity of a product. So from the birth of a product, but also for the second life and maybe the end of life of the product. And I thought I'll give you a little sneak peek of how the product will look like. I just have a couple of screens, but maybe that makes it a bit more visual. So this is what you see here is when we record the garments that we're receiving from let's say Philippa K store, you would have a batch number, the date of the arrival, you would have the which store it came from, and then you're sorting it into repair, resell, how many are going to be in each of those categories. And then on the individual garments, you can put on this mannequin here, you can place where was the fold, what kind of fold was it, so that all this information is captured here. For example, it's a hole in the fabric, unraveled top stitches and a hole in the seam. So you have that overview, you have a picture of that garment. And then as a summary, once it's been repaired and everything, you would have the whole information on this garment, including also what the brand will receive is what did this repair actually cost, how much time did it consume, so that they can really make their economics work as well in terms of resale, for example. That was it. So just on the summary and the conclusion, circularity right now is not as scalable as we hope it to be, or economically viable. However, especially also with the push through regulations, that will give circularity a strong push. And data, in our point of view, is very crucial for making the informed decisions, for really changing the way circularity or the way the current production is being done. And with the module that we're building, the CPLM, we are able to capture that data that right now is this big black hole about the take back, the sorting, the repair, the resale. So with the data, we'll be able to, as I mentioned earlier, be able to design for better durability and recyclability, among others. So the industry will need to collaborate more and capture and share this data and scale the infrastructure if we want circularity to really, really take off. Thank you.